I'm gonna stop video.
Hey Candace, do you want to go ahead and make me a host so I can see the rooms and all that stuff too? Or did you do that already?
Okay, so you and Karina and I are co-hosts, and then we're not gonna let anybody in until we're ready, okay?
Right.
Okay.
So I don't have the breakout rooms buttons. Do you? Are you the only one that has those?
I gotta log on my computer, so hold on just a second. I don't know.
Okay. Hi, Karina.
Hey.
So I kind of timed it with the videos with Phoenix last night, and it's going to be at least, well, if we give the kids 10 minutes in their Zoom meeting to talk, do you think that's too long? Because when I just gave them 5 yesterday, they said it wasn't long enough, but I don't know if that's because they just wanted to chat.
What are they talking about?
They're going to talk about what kind of trip they want to take, and I'm going to tell them to assign one person as a spokesperson, that when they come back from the chat rooms or breakout rooms, that they present what trip they want to go on, what trip they researched. So when they're in the chat room, they're supposed to be researching what kind of trip they want to go on.
So you're saying you don't think the 2 hours is going to be enough, or you do think it's going to be enough?
Oh, it'll be enough. It'll
Okay.
be right around an hour and a half, maybe an hour 45.
I think that's fine.
Do you think 10 minutes is too long for 30 girls to talk and come to a decision?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think you're good. Okay, so I can.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if you want to spotlight it. I've got it set up so that this is the screen they'll see coming in. Does that look good?
Okay. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. So I think you have to spotlight it so that it stays on that.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, it doesn't allow me to spotlight anybody.
Okay, you gotta give me a second.
No problem.
Okay, so I just made yours the spotlight video, but I'm not seeing any of the breakout rooms like we had yesterday. So I'm wondering. Say it again.
I said, darn. Yeah, that was a setting that you have to do when nobody's in the meeting.
Okay. Should we all exit the meeting so I can do it?
We've got 4 people in the waiting room already.
Well, they can come back in.
So exit out?
Yeah, we'll exit.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Let's see if I can do this again. Name this meeting. And
You disabled host participant screen sharing. I need to share my screen.
Well, maybe if I unmute myself. I didn't make you a co-host yet. I'm gonna see if
Oh.
I can do the what do you call it's right now? The breakout rooms now.
Okay.
Because I think the reason why it wouldn't let me is because I just had a bunch of hosts instead of participants.
Uh-huh.
Manage participants. Okay, you can try to join with computer audio, but there's no microphone there, so okay. Okay, so there's gallery view. Yeah, that is weird. Because I definitely have it turned on.
Well, if it doesn't work, we'll just figure it out.
I want it to work though.
I
Okay.
know.
So irritating. All right, let's fix you two. So I'm gonna put.
I hope the people that were out there realize they just need to log back in. They'll try again, right?
Oh no, they're still on there. I didn't end the meeting.
Oh.
I just had us all leave.
Ah.
Yeah. All right. And then I'll make yours the screen. There we go.
Oh, good. Catherine and Phoenix both joined in. Okay, so I'm going to put up the page for
Okay. Well, while you're getting yourself figured out, I'm going to run to the bathroom.
okay. Well, I'm ready whenever you are.
I don't want to let anybody in to just meal about until probably 3:20. So if you want to practice pulling up your videos and stuff, make sure everything's working.
Oh, sure. I guess for some reason I thought it started at 3 o'clock.
No, it starts at 3:30.
Oh,
I
okay.
always book them a little bit early so that we have time, you know,
Okay.
to figure out life.
No problem.
Okay.
Talk about dry food. It doesn't just have to be store bought. You can make your own at home. So you just like have some on this table, there is some
Okay, so that's ready to go. That's ready to go. That can get closed. That can get closed. All right, we're good to go. Don't throw the banana jar. I wondered where they went to. Well, that's good. I guess I'm not getting that one. Oh, Rena, I see your ghost working behind me. Yeah, I'll go that way so people don't see your computer. Oh, come on. No, it's still good. All right. It's so nice to be back at the screen. Cool. I don't know what I can do. Meals, there we go. Okay, let me do that. All right, so that's the gear. This is the meals. And this one will be the dried food. Excellent. Gear, meals, dried food. Zoom, me, PowerPoint. Ready to go? Awesome. Hmm. All right. So 9 people are waiting.
Okay, so I'm ready to start monitoring if you are ready. This is Candace.
Okay, you mean to let people in?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I'll start letting people in.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being on time for our troop camping badges for cadets, seniors, and ambassadors. We're going to be waiting just a little while longer until we have more people signing in. We're supposed to start at 3:30, and it's 3:22 here in California. So while we wait, I'm going to go ahead and put some things in our chat room or in our chat area so that, let's see, I want to stop that. Hello. Okay, for the chat, we've got questions for planning. That's what I wanted. So once we get going here today, girls, we're going to have hopefully breakout rooms. And if those are working, then you'll have time to break out into groups and answer these questions. So if you want to take the time now while you're waiting to start writing down the questions 1 through 9 that are in the chat box. Do you all know how to get to the chat box? You can give me a thumbs up if you do know. Right now we've got all the participants muted because we're going to have over 100 people in on this Zoom today. So let's see how many places people are from here today while we're waiting. Go ahead and chat in the chat box where you're signing in from today. Okay, Phoenix says from Porterville. Catherine's from Porterville, that's in California. Karina's from Visalia. Amelia M is from Tennessee. Welcome to California. Barnstead, New Hampshire. Awesome, Kim. Great to see you. Hanford, Fresno, San Diego. Excellent. Casey's from Tennessee. Oh, and you know what? I see that Scarlett did a really good thing. On your profile, you can change your name over on the buttons to your right. And she put on there cadet or senior. Alana did it too. So if you could put in there cadet or senior so that we know what level you are, then that helps everybody who's communicating so we know what level you are. New Jersey, San Diego, awesome. Let's see here. Who did I miss while I was talking? Timor, Tennessee, San Diego, Fresno. Great. Terrific from New Jersey. I was actually a Daisy Troop leader in New Jersey about 20 years ago. How do you get to the questions, Casey asks. Okay, on the bottom of your screen, there's a chat box. And the very first thing in that chat box to everyone, before all the other things, should have been questions. Oh, there they go. I guess I didn't get them posted. So there's the questions. They're kind of in the middle. Sorry about that. I can also show you a list of the questions from my computer. Let's see here. Print layout. Let's see the whole page. No, that's too small. Let's get up here to 75%, see how that looks. All right. No, that's really tiny. I don't know if it would help any if I put that up.
Introduce yourselves.
Hi, Carla. You're from Iowa. Nice to have you here. So if you're just coming into the room now, everybody's in the chat box telling us where they're from.
We don't see a chat box. Do you know where?
Sure, on the bottom of your, now I'm just using a computer. I've never logged in from my phone yet, but in the bottom of your computer, there should be a couple of buttons to choose from, and chat is one of those buttons.
Okay.
Here's your chat box.
Hi from Viviana, hi from Miranda Diaz. So it's 3:29. We're going to get started real soon here. We're up to 30 participants. Great. Hi from Kerman, California. Hi, Maria. So while we're waiting, you guys could practice your reactions. There should be a reaction button there too. You could clap your hands like that. Or you can give me a thumbs up like that. Or if you go over to the right-hand side, when you look on the participants, you can raise your hand. So if you click on the participant button, it looks like two people standing next together. When you see your name is up there. That's where you can change your name to say what level you're in. And at the bottom of that list is where there's a button that says raise your hand. So you can practice some of those things while we're waiting for just a few more girls to arrive. Hi from Fresno, from Amanda Hanlon. Hi, Amanda. If you haven't been able to type in your chat yet, tell us where you're from, everyone. Hello, Daniela. Cadette. And Valeria's a junior. Excellent. Oh, we've got someone who's a senior from Vegas. Excellent. Taylor's a senior from Fresno. Esri's from Fresno. Teresa and Lorena from Fresno. Excellent. So, it's great to see you all here today.
I hear you.
So if you've just come in, make sure that you keep your microphone on mute. We're going to give people a chance to talk today, but we're going to go over the ground rules first. So as you come in, you'll automatically be muted. Okay. So Amanda Hanlon says she's actually Hope, but her mom can't figure out how to change the name. Okay, Hope, thank you. Marissa is a cadet from Bakersfield. Izzy's a cadet from Redwood City, way north. Awesome. Let's see. And more cadets from Bakersfield. Sophia Tabor's from Bakersfield. Great. So nice to see all your bright, shining faces today. I'll tell you all a secret. 2 of my daughters are in on this video today. And because this is a girl-led organization, one of my girls helped me with some videos, and that's Phoenix. So you'll see some more of her today. And I see she snuck into my bedroom and is sitting on my bed to do the video today. So She's a silly girl. All right, we've got Shayna from Virginia. Welcome. She's a cadet. Great. Okay, well, you know what? We're up to 41 participants. Oh, wait, we've got a couple of more people coming on in. Welcome, welcome. If you've just come in, go ahead and get yourself familiar with the chat box. There's a list of questions in that chat box that you're going to want to write down, because we're going to work together as a group to answer those questions. They're kind of in the middle. I'll go ahead and post them again right now. There should be 9 questions. So if you can take your pen and pencil and get ready to write all those down. We're down to 1 person waiting to get in. Looks like we're up to 44 people. And since you guys all arrived on time, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for your patience. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. So, as you all know, you are here today to do the troop camping badges for cadets, seniors, and ambassadors. And my name is Mary Higgins. I am a Girl Experience facilitator here at Girl Scouts of Central California South. And I know that this can be kind of a scary, crazy time for you and your family. We want you to know that here at Girl Scouts of Central California South, we're here for you, and we will help you along the way as best as we can. That is why we decided to offer virtual programming to our Girl Scouts. So please be patient with us, as these videos are raw, meaning that they're recorded in the majority of our homes with our families, along with the pets we have. Some of us can be used to record or webboard, and images might cut out and may not sound the best. You may hear voices or animals in the background, and we apologize for this ahead of time, but we'll all get through this together. So the first thing I want to go over is the start of every meeting. You always have your Girl Scout promise and your Girl Scout law. So if one of you or 2 of you would like to raise your hand, my co-host Candace and my co-host Karina will choose 2 of you and unmute your microphone. Will you start us out with the Girl Scout promise?
Do you want me to start it?
What's your name and where are you from?
Amelia, and I'm from Tennessee.
Awesome, Amelia. Can you do our Girl Scout promise for us today?
Okay. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
Excellent, thank you. Who else would like to do our Girl Scout law?
Where? You already erased it.
Sorry, I selected Maria.
I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, courageous and caring, responsible for what I do and say, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and to be a sister to every Girl Scout.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay, so I see we've got all kinds of girls. Thank you so much for coming.
Change the name.
So the next thing we're going to do is to go over our ground rules.
Thank you.
Let's see here. So all attendees, as I told you, most of you heard on arriving, your microphones will be muted, and we appreciate when you share your videos so we can see you wave or give us a thumbs up. So some of you have been practicing how to raise your hand on the computer if you have a question, and like we just saw the girls, Amelia and Maria do, you need to unmute your microphone on your side when we do that. So hopefully we're going to try to get some breakout rooms going on in a meeting where we can break you up into like tables, like at school when you go to different tables to work on projects with a group. So when you do go into those groups, the same rules apply there as apply here. We will unmute your microphones there, but they are going to be very big rooms. So you may choose to mute your own microphone if you don't have something to say, so that it's not so noisy in your ears. And then 4, a Girl Scout is courteous. We all want to practice our courtesy. We all want to practice our safe web rules. So let's get started. Okay, why is this not changing to the next page? Okay, that was the page I wanted. Activity planning. These are the 9 questions I asked you to write down in the chat room. So if those of you who haven't had a chance to write them down yet, you can write these down as I do a little explanation on what these are for. So today, as I said, we're going to cover the troop camping series for cadets, seniors, and ambassadors. We're going to cover the steps for primitive camper for cadets. Then we'll cover the adventure camper for seniors. And finally, we'll cover the survivor camper for ambassadors. Now, you may notice that many of these activities are similar to those in other levels. And that's because you will have the same concept at different levels. And if you don't have the supplies we talk about in this video, don't worry. Part of the activity is to link up with your troop at home and talk to your Girl Scout sisters and your friends and your family and coordinate sharing the equipment that you have. So if anybody needs more time to write these lists down, please raise your hand so I know not to change the screen. And Candace, can you let me know if there's still people? I still see a couple people, so we'll give you a few more minutes. All right. Excellent. So once you're finished writing down the list, if you can press the button to lower your hand, then we'll know we can go on. So like I said, what we're going to do, we're going to break you out randomly into a few breakout rooms. Each room will have a grown-up in there helping you to facilitate, either Miss Candace, Miss Karina, or I. And we still have 5 people with hands raised. So go ahead and write down all these lists. So while we're doing this, one of the things that you need to do for I believe it was the cadet, the senior level, is part of your planning. What we're going to do in our breakout rooms is to search about the history of the place you're going to go take the trip. Another thing is to search about the ecology of the place you're going to go take a trip. And one other thing is to search about a side activity you can do. Like say you planned on going camping somewhere, but then you found out that they had a putt-putt golf course at a campsite down the road. You could plan to tack on that extra activity to your camping trip. So those are the sorts of things that on a senior troop camping badge, you'll want to add to this planning list. Okay, let's see. How's everybody doing? Does anybody else need more time? Can you tell Candace if anyone needs more time or if I'm good to go?
Looks like you have quite a few hands raised, maybe like 1 or 2 more minutes.
Okay.
And girls, we can send most of this information to you as well. So what we do at the end of these workshops is we send a recording of the workshop and then the additional steps that you need to do in order to complete your badge. Obviously, we're not camping here together. We're in many states stretched across the US. So we can send you not just the recording, but the steps and any information that may have been covered here in the Word documents. So if you don't get it, that's fine, but it does help for this first activity.
Thank you. Okay, while you're finishing up, let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to start planning. So the cadets and ambassadors seem to have the same concept in regards to their troop camping. Cadets talk about primitive camping, while ambassadors are going to talk about survival camping. Now, primitive camping is roughing it, which means to go into nature, into undeveloped or non-established campgrounds, and it also means going without electricity, without running water, and maybe even, dun dun dun, no cell service. OMG, the horror. So I'm sure you've all survived as Girl Scouts without your phones. Anyways, survival camping for the ambassadors is heading out with no pre-made shelter like a tent and challenging yourself to camping with limited equipment and building your own shelter with what you can take with you or what you can find. So for our seniors, the adventure camping is where girls can add high adventure to their camping trips, such as a kayaking trip or going mountain biking or rock climbing. So before any of the levels embark on their camping trips, they should all write down all of these questions and discuss them with their troop and their family. So while you're continuing to copy them, I'm going to go ahead and read them. What type of permits, if any, you'll need for this trip? There's surprisingly some places you can camp in the middle of a national forest without a permit, and some places you need a permit. Sometimes you need to get a permit for a fire. Sometimes you need to get a permit if you're going to go out into a river. Some rivers have restricted access, and you have to have a permit to go on those rivers. What is the best way to find campsites for your adventure? And if you're staying at a campsite, what is the best way to find the area you want to stay at? How have you created your own shelter or survival camping trips? What methods work the best for you? Also, what things are most essential for adventure camping that will keep the load light and allow us to move locations? So for adventure camping, you're going to mostly carry everything in a backpack on your back. So you really want to consider how heavy things are. 5, what is the best way to purify water? Carrying water can be really heavy. If you're going on an extended trip, you really want to figure out how to purify water as you go. How do you forage for safe foods to eat? Have you experienced any kind of emergencies on survival camping trips, and how did you handle them? What did you need to be safe? What do you think of your budget? Is there anything you might have missed on your budget? And what do you think of your gear list? Is there anything you missed? Can you talk to your friends and share equipment? So, in order to find these answers, if you don't know them already, we're going to do some research. You can check out on your computer, you could check out YouTube or Google, or even talk to an expert that you may know in your area for answers to these questions. You may even be lucky enough to live with an expert in your own house. And we're going to break you out into breakout rooms so you can talk to each other about these questions. So also you can find some videos that can help you with your adventure planning. While we wait, before we go, I was going to share a video with you that my daughter made about the camping gear that she has ready to go on her camping trips. This is my daughter, Phoenix.
Hi, I'm Phoenix. We're going to go over the gear
Oops,
for camping.
sorry, I jumped ahead of myself. That's activity 2. So we'll talk about the gear when you get back from the breakout rooms. I apologize, I got ahead of myself. Let me get back to that list. Okay, Candace, is everybody done writing yet? Are we ready to go to our rooms?
I still have 4 hands up and I'm not seeing the room still.
Oh, we're not seeing the rooms. Okay, well, since we don't have the rooms to break you out into, what we're going to do is we'll just work all together in a big group. So if you have a good idea, feel free to toggle back and forth between your Zoom app and your web browser and start researching different kinds of fun places that you might want to go to. So you can look on YouTube, like I said, and I'm going to help Candace watch you out there. You can either raise your hand in participants or you can raise your hand in the picture, and we'll call on you if you have a good idea, and we'll hear what your ideas are, where you want to go on your trips. Oh, is Daniela, do you have your, oh no, that's I thought it was a head, but it's a hand, but it's a head. There you go. Now I can see 2 heads. Hi. Anybody else got a hand up? Can we see? Oh, it looks like Esri has a hand up. Let me see here. Okay, I unmuted you. There we go. Can we hear you now? I think you might still be muted on your side, Esri. I still can't hear you. No, it's muted again. Maybe your microphone's not working. We'll try and work on that. Let's see if we can get somebody else that we can actually hear. Who else had their hand up? Okay, well, I'm going to pick on my daughters. Catherine is my other daughter, and we had a camping trip that we were supposed to go on this summer that got canceled. So maybe she can tell us about all the fun places she was thinking about going there.
I think I fixed it. Can you hear me now?
Oh, Esri, I can hear you now.
So, yeah. So my place that I picked is, it's called the Glass Beach. It's in like Upper California. It's really pretty. I like beach camping, so there's pretty much the place where I would want to go.
That's awesome. So
I figured out the breakout
let me see
rooms.
here. Miss Candace, for this section, if you could take off the spotlight of me, that way we could see the girls as they're participating. Oh, I see, cancel spotlight. There, now we can see. So who else has a place that they'd like to go to? Glass Beach sounds. Oh, I see Shayna has her hand up. Okay. I think I can hear you now, Shayna.
Where I like to go is like a beach. Westmoreland State Park.
Uh-huh. Say that again, please.
Shark tooth hunting.
Oh, they have shark tooth there? That sounds. They have what else?
Different campsites and stuff.
That sounds great. Okay, let's hear from one other person. Catherine's shaking her head. Does anybody else have a cool place to go? Oh, I see Abry has her hand raised. Did you have a place that you know of, Abry?
Aubrey, yeah.
Aubrey?
Big Sur in California. Big
Oh,
Sur.
that's famous for
Yeah,
being.
it
What do you
has
like to do?
it has this big stream and like a bunch of pet friendly and human friendly trails, and it has like their own little visiting center and tiny little museum about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go
That's
swimming in the stream. It has these miniature rapids where you can kind of walk through them.
terrific. So, part of, like I said, researching is going through and watching videos on things. One of the cool videos that, oh shoot, where's that at? There it is. Okay, one of the really neat videos that one of my coworkers found was a video of hiking in the national parks for 72 hours. So that would be like an extended backpacking trip. Another really cool thing you can use for researching is they have on Google Earth, they just released like 45 national parks that you can put yourself on, and when you hit the little person icon that's on the map, you can look all around 360 degrees and see the waterfalls and the mountains and the trails. So that's a really good place to research what trips you might want to go on until you can get there in person. So who has a good idea that they like to research where they're wanting to go? Esri has her hand raised again.
Hello. Or can you hear me? I want to make sure I'm on the right microphone.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna still research Glass Beach. I'm on Google Earth right now, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Though I'm having a little bit of trouble researching it. Do you know like how to get into a bird's eye view or the
A bird's eye view on Google Earth?
not the Google Earth, just where you can? Oh, never mind. I think I found it. Like
Okay.
it's a picture of a little person.
Yes, the little person is the little thing you pick, and then you can move it with your mouse to whatever part of the screen. And when you're in like the aerial view, you can see all kinds of little dots. Like if you go, I went to Yosemite, and if you go to Yosemite Falls part of the national park, there's 10 or 20 little dots everywhere around the falls. And that's where different people have taken pictures and uploaded them to Google Earth. And so you can look at the falls from the bridge, you can look at the falls from right at the bottom of the falls, you can even look at the falls from the middle. Like if you climbed halfway up the mountain, somebody's loaded a video there too.
Oh,
So
that's
that
really,
Google Earth thing is pretty a neat way to research.
yeah, I can see it. It's really pretty.
Awesome. Who else has a good idea of a place that they're going to research things? Do you have an app that you like to use that tells you about campgrounds? Taylor has a comment.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. So a lot of times when I'm thinking of somewhere to go, I'll ask my friends who like traveling places, and then they can usually give me good suggestions. And they also know tips for like stuff you can do in the area.
Excellent. Personal recommendations are definitely good to have because that way you know what to expect. Let's check the next screen. Anybody else have any good ideas of where they like to research? So one of the places that I actually find is interesting is reservations.org, and that's one of the things you use through the national parks. A lot of the national parks and even some state parks use the same reservation website. And if you just start playing on there, you can see all the different places you can camp and do things. And they have little write-ups and connect you to the websites for those state parks. There's some really neat things to go see. All right, so have any of you created your own shelters, like out of a tarp or out of branches? Have you ever, any of you ever slept in a shelter you've created? Raise your hand. It looks like Amelia raised her hand, Shayna raised her hand. Star, we haven't heard from you yet. Can you tell us about the shelter you created?
I've created a fort out of blankets.
A blanket fort. Those are my favorite forts. They're super cozy. Let's see. Did you see anybody else who we haven't heard from yet, Candace? Raise your hand again. I see Amanda Handlin's got her hand up.
Mary Kate. Oh, there we go. Unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I actually built a shelter outside for another badge that I did. I built an A-frame shelter up against the side of my house, and I stayed in it overnight.
Excellent.
I see Lorena.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So oh wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so at home sometimes when we were smaller, we used to like move the sofas around and everything and put sheets to make a fort. And I know at my cousin's house one time we made like kind of like a small little fort, but we used chairs from outside and we used like tarps to make a little shelter. We didn't stay in it though.
Excellent. Taylor, did you have a shelter that you created?
Yeah, just a few days ago, actually, we're doing our Be Prepared, Not Scared patches. So I made a shelter out of a tarp in my backyard.
Excellent. Did you have to use knots to tie up ropes to hold your tarp up?
No, I actually used stakes in the ground.
Ooh.
Awesome. Awesome. Genevieve has her hand up.
I set up a tent when I went camping with my Girl Scout troop when we were at a park, and we all set it up together.
Awesome. And then Amanda Hanlon has her hand up. Amanda, can you unmute?
Oh, so can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so me and my sister and my little brother, one time we were like really little and we made like this fort with a tarp and like these pipes. It was like a triangle tent, so it was really fun.
Excellent. Okay, it looks like we got everybody's comments about the forts they've made. Oh, wait, do we have one more? Oh, Amanda, I need you to lower your hand. Let's lower your hand there. Awesome. All right. So the next question is, what things are most essential for adventure camping that will keep the load light and allow us to move locations? So how many of you have ever been backpack camping, like away from your cars, like you had to hike away like, I don't know, a quarter mile, a mile, 2 miles away from your car and set up a tent and camp just out of your backpack? Raise your hand if you've done that. Looks like Amelia has experience. So Amelia, what things did you take with you to keep your load light? You need to unmute your, there you go.
So it was a troop camping and we went to a state park. It was Fall Creek Falls, and we went and hiked in, and to keep our load light, we all had really light tents, sleeping bags, we had very minimum clothes and stuff we didn't really need for the weekend. We just kept it at a minimum and had what we needed and not what we absolutely wanted.
That is a really good hint. Just make sure you have your bare basics. Okay, Phoenix has her hand raised. You have to unmute the computer, Phoenix.
When I went backpack hiking, we got a one-person tent for me and my sister, and that's just basically a triangle or a circle tent where like it's super light and really easy to carry.
Right. Single person tents are usually designed to be very light so that they're not hard to carry long distances. Good idea. Does anybody else know about any other things that you can do to make your load light in your backpack? So if you research just backpack camping, there's tons of websites that tell you all about different equipment. It could be really inexpensive equipment all the way to super expensive equipment. Like you can get a big sleeping bag made of down material for $200 that would fit a 6-foot man that you could squish down into a ball just like that big, like really tiny, and it would fit into your backpack. The only problem is those kinds of specialized camping gear can have a big price tag. So that's something that if you really, really like backpacking, then you may think about considering putting that on your Christmas list. Catherine has her hand raised.
Freeze-dried food is a great way to make your backpack lighter because it doesn't have the water weight.
That's right. Having your food freeze-dried does take out a lot of weight. Good idea. Okay. Abriana Nuno has her hand raised.
You can use dry powdered food. Like they have like this peanut butter powder and hummus powder, and all you have to do is just add water. Kind of like freeze dry, but a little different too.
That's awesome. Thank you for mentioning that. I actually got to try some of those with my friend this summer, and they're surprisingly very good.
Mm-hmm.
Abriana, oh, I see you. Okay. Do you still have your hand raised for a question? Okay, thank you. All right, let's see. Okay, so let's go on to our next question.
So sorry, Mary. I was able to get the breakout rooms to work. So next time we need them, I have them.
Oh, terrific. Thank you, Candace. So the next question, what is the best way to purify water? How many of you have had to purify water on any of your trips? Raise your hand and we'll call on you. Amelia has her hand raised.
Okay. I use a Sawyer squeeze, but another person, one of our leaders in our troop, uses water tablets.
Water tablets?
Depends on what you like, because sometimes the water tablets will have a slight taste to them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mind that those are mostly smaller than the Sawyer squeeze and take up less room.
Awesome. So can you say that slower, what it is that you use, something squeeze?
It's called a Sawyer squeeze.
How do you spell that?
I think it's SAWYAR and then squeeze.
Ah, I don't think I've seen one of those. That's a really great tip from the other side of the country. Sometimes where you live, you may not have the same equipment available that we have here in California. So that's really great to know. Thank you. Esri, did you have?
Yeah, so I haven't actually used, like, I have my family doesn't go backpacking, but like when I look at that kind of stuff, there's this thing called a life straw that's super collapsible, and it's like just like plastic and like a million different filters in it. So yeah, there's that.
Great. And I scored really big last year, and I found life straws in the clearance aisle at Walmart. So keep your eyes out there. So sometimes you can find some really good deals at the wrong time of year for things like that, because life straws can be anywhere from $15 to $20. So those work really excellently. So Abriana Nuno, did you have a comment?
Yeah. So you can like use this type of like, you can use a cloth, and like you put it, like you take the water, the dirty water, you can use this cloth, and then the cloth catches all the dirt particles, and then there's and the bacteria, and then you can from then boil it if you wanted, but it also works like just if you have the cloth, like a couple layers of the cloth, and you get the purified water.
Excellent. Tabor, April. I think you're muted. There you go.
Yeah. So there are these straws on Amazon where it's like a water purifier straw. So it's like you could take any like dirty water or flowing water that's not that clean and just drink out of it, and it'll purify it.
Excellent. Amanda. Can you unmute your side? There you go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so to purify water, I was thinking like you boil it first, and then you can like strain it with like a cloth or like any type of shirt that you have that's cotton. Like it with like dirty water, and then you like strain it with cloth or something.
Excellent. Taylor, how have you purified water before?
Mine's similar to what Amanda said last week. For Patch, we're working on a purified water by boiling it. So you want to pour it through cloth to get rid of any large contaminants, and then boil it for about 10 minutes to get rid of like microorganisms in it. But you do want to be careful because it doesn't necessarily get rid of any chemicals that are in it.
Correct. And then we have Phoenix left.
So I have done this at a Girl Scout camp before. So you can take an empty water bottle and fill it with some water like from a river, and then before you do that, you put like charcoal from a fire or something, and then sand, like ashes, and then there's other stuff. You can research it. I just don't remember all of it. And it does take a long time, but if you can't like make a fire or any of that, that's a good way to purify water.
Excellent. Daniela and Valeria.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I went to 6th grade camp about 2 years ago, and one of my leaders had like a container to purify water. It was like a bottle, like it was a straw, and then you would like pump something in it or something, and it would purify the water.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. Those are all great ideas for purifying water. So when you are camping, sometimes when you're far away, you can look for native, wild, edible plants. Always when you're going to do this, you want to make sure and have your parents' permission. You want to make sure that you know absolutely exactly what it is you are eating. Sometimes things that could make you sick look very similar to things that are edible. So always make sure either you know 100% or you're with somebody who can identify all of those plants. Now there's places on the internet you can research. There are books you can buy. One of the really neat places I like to look is looking at Native American books or cookbooks or trail books, because they've of course been here much longer and they know all the indigenous plants and what they can be used for. So how many of you have ever eaten any wild plants? Can you read? Let's see. Let's see if we can get a comment from somebody we haven't heard from yet. There's a few girls out there that are being a little bit shy. Okay. Adriana?
When we went to Oregon, we went to this blackberry patch place. I mean, it wasn't like totally out in the wilderness, but you did have to like find it and then eat it. Kind of like that.
Blackberries are amazing wild foods, and those are absolutely berries that you can find when you're out camping. Genevieve, what kind of foods did you find?
Well, I'm not really sure what the berry was, but I had it when I was hiking on a trail, and one of my friends' moms who helps with the troop, she knows a lot about like the wilderness and everything, and she said it was okay to eat. So.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, let's see. Amelia, what wild foods do they have? Now, you said you were from Virginia, right?
No, I'm from Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee, that's right.
Yeah.
So what kind of things do they have out there?
Well, you can find raspberries. We found that on a trail one time. Blackberries, honeysuckles, and just different plants you can find all over.
Have you ever tried a pawpaw fruit? I've read that they grow wild in Tennessee, but I've always wanted to try one, but they don't grow around here.
Actually, no. They're actually like on trails and stuff. You don't really find them, or like we don't go camping when they're in season. We've actually tried to grow one, but it takes like 5 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Taylor, what kind of raw native foods have you found?
Well, in our old neighborhood, there was a canal, and next to it, there was a boysenberry bush. And my brother and I never touched them, but then we were walking with our cousin one day, and he told us that, yeah, it's fine, you can eat them. They're boysenberries. So we picked them and brought them home, and our grandma washed them, and they were really good.
Oh my goodness. Boysenberries are delicious.
Yeah.
Esri, what kind of wild foods have you eaten?
Well, on the San Joaquin River, there's like tons of blackberry bushes. So every time I go there, we get some of the blackberries. They're really good, like wild grown. And then when I visit my grandma, she lives in Pennsylvania. They have wild strawberries, which are also really good, that we make strawberry shortcake with.
Oh, yum. Okay, Cassidy, what kind of wild foods have you tried?
So those, sorry, my cat just jumped over me. Those fruit, the fruit that you about for the girl in Tennessee, I've actually tried those. I live in Tennessee. I did not like them. I didn't think they were very good, and I've also tried the blackberries, and had whenever I was hiking a different state, I tasted wild strawberries, which I didn't like. Okay.
Ah, okay. We're going to take
Can we go
one
back?
more. Oh,
Sorry, Mary. Can we go back to Cassidy?
sure.
Yeah.
Cassidy, show us your cat.
Okay. Yeah.
Cassidy, I saw your cat for like a second. Your cat's super interesting.
Oh, he's hairless.
Oh, how cute.
All right, I'm good.
Okay, so Kara has been holding her hand up for so long. Go ahead, Kara Davis.
Hello?
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay, Hi, a native rock plant that I have had is pickleweed near mud flats at Morrow Rock.
Awesome. That sounds interesting. Did it taste like pickles?
No, it was just very salty.
Ah, okay. I'm going to choose one more person because I haven't heard from her yet. Josie Ross, did you eat something wild?
Yeah. Coming home from my school, there's these cherry trees that we always pick cherries from.
Awesome. Cherries are amazing. Okay, let's go on to the next question. So have you experienced any kind of emergencies on survival camping trips, and how did you handle them? What did you need to be safe? We're only going to take 3 answers because I think we need to get things moving here. Did anybody have an emergency they dealt with while they were camping? Taylor has her hand up.
Well, we went camping with my family when I was about maybe 8 or 9, and my brother and my cousin and I were hanging out where this wasp nest was, and then my cousin stepped on it and there were wasps flying out everywhere. We all got stung, and so we did have to deal with that. Luckily, there's a nurse in the campsite right next to us, so she was able to help us with some first aid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is so painful. Okay, Cassidy Star, you've got your hands up. Have you had any emergencies you've dealt with?
Sorry, I forgot to put my hand down.
Okay. Let's see. Abriana has her hand up.
So I was like climbing on this rock, and I kind of like slipped and I landed on my stomach.
Did you need to have first aid care?
No, but it was I did get a little wet because it was like in a river, so we had to clean me off because it was a dirty river.
Ah, so how did you handle that? Did you have an extra pair of clothes with you? Or?
I did. I had an extra pair of clothes because I knew we were by the river, and so we had an emergency changing session.
Excellent, excellent. So you were prepared. Daniela, last one. What kind of emergency did you guys have to deal with?
Well, we were at a river and my brother had stepped on glass, and my mom called the ambulance. We were putting pressure on the cut.
Very good. It was great that you remembered that. Did you learn that in your Girl Scout first aid, to put pressure on?
And to elevate it.
And to what?
Elevate it.
Elevate it. That's a good hint. Okay. So let's go on to number 8. What did you think about your budget? Is there anything you've missed? How many of you have had to make a budget for your trips when you go camping? Or do the grown-ups just do it for you? Let's see. Phoenix has her hand raised. Catherine has her hand raised. Abriana has her hand raised. Mariana, we haven't heard from you. Oh, Miranda, we haven't heard from you yet. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have never made a budget for camping because I haven't gone family camping since I was little. So we've always just gone to like Camp Bowline and stuff. So you just pay the fee and then you go. So yeah, I think it just depends on if you're doing camps with Girl Scouts or family.
Okay, that's a good hint. If you go to an all expenses paid camp or if you have to plan your own activities. All right, I see Paige has her hand up. Have you had to make a budget for your trips, Paige?
Yes, I have actually, because there's tons of people in my family that went camping. So we had to make like a budget. So everyone bought different things. So we all brought it all together.
Excellent. One last person. Let's hear from Nadia. We haven't heard from her yet. What kind of budget did you guys have to work on, Nadia?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We never made a budget. It was usually the adults that made
Actually, there was no budget.
Okay. All right, everybody, lower your hands. We're going to go on to the last question. So what do you think of your gear list? Do you have everything that you say? We went to this glass beach that we heard about. Do you think you have all the gear that you might need for this trip? Let's pretend everybody in our group is going to go on this trip, and we'll see if we can't get everybody's hands raised. So raise your hand if you have, I'm just trying to think of something difficult. If you have a compass, not the little cheap compasses, but the really good compasses that you don't get lost with. Oh, wow. Look at all those Girl Scouts that have real compasses. Good. How many of you have a walking stick so that when you're hiking long distances, you don't get so tired? Or you can move bushes or plants around so you see that you're not stepping on little critters. Okay, go ahead and keep your hands up. All right, we've got a lot of people. Now let's see who else has a water purifier in their camping supplies, like a life straw or something like that. We've got more people raising their hands. Okay, I know I'll probably get all of you on this one. How many of you have a sleeping bag? Yeah, there we all go. Okay, so if we all can pool our resources and we know who we can go to in our troop or in our families to share equipment, that's one of the great things we can do in planning. All right, so now since we're talking about gear, I'm going to share with you a video that my daughter Phoenix did to share about the gear you're going to take on a trip. Let me make sure.
We're going to go over the gear for camping. On this table, there is some neat to have, some nice to have. We have water. This is a bottle where you don't need water and you can just get it out from a lake because it has.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. I loaded that up to go before we started, and now Facebook doesn't like that I had it on pause for so long.
Mary, can you also make your volume a bit louder?
My volume?
Yeah, on the video.
Oh, sure.
On this table, there is some.
Let me pause it for a moment so I can get it bigger. Okay, I've got that all the way to the top. Okay, let's see how this works.
To have and some nice to have. We have water. This is a bottle where you don't need water and you can just get it out from a lake because life straw in it. Rope, you can like hang so you can put it on the backpack. And flashlight. You should bring a flashlight. And I can check if it has good batteries on it. This one does. Because you don't know if you're going to get injured. Extra clothes or swimsuits for like if you get wet or something. Pocket knife. And this is nice to have because, well, yeah, it's nice to have because cut some rope or like be stuck, we need to cut it. Shift it around and compass. This one automatically has a knife on it. And this one is not so good, but it's 2 in 1. This one is the good one. It shows you to set it upright where north, the west, and east is really good. You can open it. Here's the map. The tent should already come with reindeer, and you should buy a poncho. Any store, but you need to make sure it's baking. Mistake about that.
And it's saying we have bacon mix.
You can make it into pancakes or something like that. Of course, bring a lighter. Sun protection and sunscreen. Always bring sunscreen. A sun hat and sunglasses. With the lighter, you should always bring a neckerchief or something because with a neckerchief, you can use it as fire fuel or if it's very dusty or like sweat, you can wipe it off. Or if it's dusty, you can use the front because it blocks out so it makes the air cleaner. But right, a lot of mosquitoes and wasps come out and it really hurts when they bite. Some bug repellent is always good. Always, of course, pads and all that stuff because you don't know when you're gonna start. Toothpaste, toothbrush, yeah, that stuff. Hairbrush, hair ties, and your hair can get in the way a lot when you're camping. And you can get stuck or something. It's very playful. So when you're around campfires or something like that, really good to put up your hands so you don't catch on fire. So step 2, no only closed-toe shoes because you can, like something sharp could stab your foot and that would be very bad. Like tennis shoes.
Or hiking boots.
Or hiking boots. Deck of cards, small games. That's just a fun thing you can bring because sometimes you can get bored when you're camping, and for a duck tent, it is good to bring because you don't know if something will tear or if you need to put stuff together and you don't have the right things to put it together. So
What are the other things on the table we didn't go over?
we didn't go over cooking supplies.
So that's a camp stove that you could cook with. These are some of your nice to have.
Yeah, these are nice to have. And you can bring like these automatically sets mess kits that people put together. And this is these folded things is a cup and a bowl. And of course you have the normal silverware and plates. We also have a cutting board. It is a nice to have because it's dirt and you can roll it up. And all the stuff that needs to be protected if like you, for like a message or something, make a bigger airplane, toss it. Wait, also you can use paper as fuel for fire, and you should also bring gloves because you're going places. Fire can get burned easily if you're something that don't know if
Almost over? Is it almost over? I don't think so. What do you do?
you're going backpack hiking is more lighter than any other tent. Of course, bring a sleeping bag.
When you get home, where do you store all your stuff?
When you get home, you should store your stuff in a bucket. Something used for camping. That's it.
Okay, that was Phoenix. So how many of you guys have things that are from that list? Oops, sorry. I see a lot of people with their hands up. So when we're talking about the camping list, let's see. So the things you want to think about when you're camping, of course, the first aid. Phoenix went over a lot of things. Another thing you may want to think about when you're planning and bringing your gear, if you're going to set up your tent, make sure you're looking at your campground and where you're going to set up. Because if you set up in an area that maybe has the chance of having a flash flood, if you're in the mountains and it's going to rain, if you go to a place that maybe there's an anthill where you're wanting to set up your tent, I've done that before. I do not recommend it. It's not fun. Also, you need to think about the trees that are close by your tent. If there's a lot of dead branches up in the trees, those can fall down on you in the middle of the night. So you want to make sure that the trees, if you're close to a tree, that it's a nice healthy tree and doesn't have any widow makers. I see lots of hands up. Are the hands up because you guys have something to share, or did you guys all forget to put your hands down? Let's see. Candace, can you lower everybody's hands and then we'll see if anybody has something to share. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like we're doing well. So talking about the gear in your group, we've already talked about how to share things. And when you get back to your regular troop meetings or group meetings that you're doing virtually with your troops or your friends, go ahead and talk to them about what we've talked about. Start planning your trips that you can take when all of this is over, and coordinate who's got what kind of gear. Go ahead and use something like this Zoom meeting where you guys can draw up the lists. And in one column, make a list of what you do have. In the other column, make a list of what you'd like to have and which one of your friends can loan that to you or share that with you. So that's a really good thing to do. So for activity 3, we're going to talk about the meals. The meals we have for cadets, you're going to want to research and talk to an expert about eating and making camp meals such as Frito pie. There's all kinds of really cool camping cookbooks out here. Here's one of my favorite ones that uses something called a pie iron. And the reason I like this camping book is it just has pictures. It doesn't even have ingredient lists. Well, it does have ingredient lists, but it doesn't have measurements. It just shows you a picture of what to build with your pie, and then you stick it over the iron and you cook it. So that's a really cool Campout camping cookbook. There's all kinds of cookbooks for cast iron that you'll find at the grocery store. There's lots and lots of resources out there that you can research to find camp meals. Now for seniors, you'll do research or talk to an expert about freeze-dried food, what type of supplies you need, and what are the safety precautions that come with prepping this meal. Make sure that your mindset is on the fact that when you are adventure camping, you could be carrying all your supplies, such as a kayak for kayaking. You're going to be carrying everything. So you want to make sure that that food is as light as it's going to be, that you can make it to carry all your extra equipment. For ambassadors, you're going to want to research and talk to an expert about survival nourishment. Again, you're going to talk about edible plants you could find along the way, how to start a fire without matches, and how to use solar water collectors. And after your research and conversation with experts, you want to talk to your parents and guardians again about what they're comfortable with you trying on your future trips. You never want to try wild edibles without their permission. You can refer back to that survival camping in the National Forest for 72 hours. There's a series of 3 videos. That gentleman goes through a bunch of different wild plants that he tries. So that gives you an example of what's out there. So with the camping, you do have to keep in consideration what your nutritional needs are going to be. You're going to be exercising a lot. You may be at different altitudes. Your cooking may cook faster or slower depending how high up in the mountains you are. And you're going to want to eat lots of calories. So that's why those trail snacks are really important to eat in between meals too. So who has a favorite camp meal that they like to cook? Can you raise your hand? Catherine. Well, Catherine doesn't have her camera up, so let's go to Daniela.
A thing we like to cook is walking tacos.
And how do you make those?
It's like Taco Bell, something like Taco Bell. It's like a crunchy tortilla, and there's ground beef, or you can use like Doritos or chips.
Awesome. Josie Ross, what kind of food do you like to cook?
I like to cook hot dogs when we go camping.
Awesome. Let's see. Cassidy Starr, we haven't heard from you yet.
I like making hobos.
Hobos. How do you make hobos?
So it's over fire. You put in a tinfoil like circle. You put what type of meat you want, cheese, potatoes, any type of vegetable you want, and you close it up and you put it on the fire until it's warm, until the potatoes are ready, or until nothing's burnt. And it's really good, and it's super simple. And yeah.
Awesome. A really good hint I learned one year about hobos is if you put cabbage leaves on the outside, it won't change the taste of your food, but it'll keep everything inside from burning. Excuse me, burning. I couldn't speak properly. Haley B, what kind of things do you like to take to eat?
S'mores.
Of course. Do you have a special way you make s'mores or just the classic?
Just the classic.
Awesome. Amanda Hanlon?
Me, same as Cassidy, we make hobo sacks. So pretty much we put onions on tinfoil, and then we put hamburger meat on top of the onions so that the hamburger meat doesn't stick to the tinfoil. And then we put like vegetables and like potatoes, and I like to put potatoes, carrots, and stuff like that in there.
Awesome. Catherine, what do you like to cook?
I like to cook pie iron pizzas.
What are pie iron pizzas?
So pie iron pizzas, you get this special iron made mold that kind of, the thing that reminds me of is like peanut butter jelly sandwiches, like the Uncrustables. And you have the pizza sauce, cheese, and whatever you want on a pizza, basically. But instead of using pizza dough, I mean, you can use pizza dough, but that would take longer to cook. We use bread, so we butter one side, and the butter side goes against the iron. And then you put the filling, and then another bread, and you close it up and let it cook.
Awesome. April, what kind of camp food do you like to make?
One year can you hear me? So one year my troop went to like a beach camping. So we took like a cast iron stove and made kind of like a pizza, sort of.
Oh, yum. That sounds delicious.
And
Shayna
my
Bullock,
leader,
do you have some? Oh, go ahead.
and my
April?
leader, she took like an Italian seasoning and put it on it, so it was pretty good.
Oh, yum. Shayna, what kind of cooking things do you like to take?
Camp stew.
Camp stew, how do you make that?
So, we did this one year in Girl Scout camp where every girl brings a can of anything they want, and then you'll get a big pot and you'll throw every can you have, what girl brought, and you put it in there and you cook it all together, and then at the end you have to eat it, and it's very good.
Ah, that sounds interesting. So do you guys plan ahead of time or do you just get surprised at what everybody brings?
Yeah, you just get surprised because you're not allowed to say what you're going to bring. So no girl goes, ew, I don't like that, and then you have to change it.
That sounds like an exercise in trust. Okay, so Esri, you've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, so
Can you unmute?
yeah, I unmuted. Or can you hear me? Can you hear? Hold on.
Yes.
You can, okay, so basically my camp always makes overnight oats, which isn't really cooking. But after that, we usually have these like little tinfoil packets that are asparagus over like a bunch of different other meats, because a lot of our group, we all have a bunch of different tastes. But usually I bring chicken, and then some of our vegetarian friends bring like sausage patties and stuff. And it's really good. And we put like all types of seasonings on it. And then after that, like we make s'mores, but I do not make s'mores like everyone else. I make them either with banana, or I just take out the graham cracker entirely because I don't like graham crackers. And when I told that to my troop, like in the beginning, they were like, you can't call it a s'more, so you have to call it a sless. So I make slesses because it's less. Yeah, it's a pun, but yeah.
That sounds interesting. Okay, I know Phoenix has her hand up, but I'm not going to call on her because she made a video about meals that she wants to share. So let me get over there. This should work this time.
Just bring hot dogs and hamburgers. You can bring other already cooked foods like this rice packet. And it's easier than hot dogs and hamburgers because all you need to do is heat it up. And it's the same thing for a lot of other stuff. So, not that. It's
like there's already cooked shrimp, there's already cooked well, you know what it is.
It's masala. It's an Indian dish that goes on top of the rice.
Yeah. So all you need to do is heat this up, heat the rice up, and then you have a meal.
So you can have a gourmet meal instead of just hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah.
So why do you have the dried food?
So with the dry food, this can go bad more easier than dry food, and it's much more lighter. So if you're going you should bring dry food because no matter what, you're always going to have water. And with the dry food, water, and with the dry food, all you need is the water, put it in it, and let it soak up the water while it's cooking with the water. And then a certain amount of time that the bag or whatever you have says, that's when it should be done. So after that amount of time, you can eat it.
So do you have to just get the freeze-dried fruit in the camping aisle at Walmart?
No. Other places,
Just like your regular
just like
grocery?
your regular groceries, they should automatically have like already cooked foods and just dried rice, and you can bring that and put it in little bags if you have some at home if you want to bring it. And
How are you going to cook these things when you go camping?
okay, so there's certain things for it. If you want to like do it over the fire and you don't have you can also bring like pots that are like this.
Pie irons?
Pie irons. There are some camping stoves. And is a pot that comes with it. Or comes with some of them do come with fuel, but you're going to have to buy your own fuel if it doesn't. If you bring a can that can
like a can of soup,
you're going to first need to undo the paper because that can burn, and then with the stove you can just put it right on top.
After you open the lid, right?
You open the lid, and then it would cook automatically.
So
should I show them how to turn on?
Yeah, that's okay. We're talking about meals.
Okay.
So basically, you don't have to just get stuck with s'mores and hot dogs and hamburgers. You can have any kind of food you want.
And then I forgot this with duct tape. You can just tear off a little piece, and this is good starting fuel for fire.
If you're going to grill over your fire pit, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Phoenix.
Okay. So, okay. All right. So, could any of you hear that video, or was it really, really hard to hear? A little bit. If you could hear it, raise your hand. Okay, so some of you out there could hear the video. All right, so now, how many of you got your supplies ready for this badge workout shop? How many of you knew that you had to bring your ropes with you? Do you all have your ropes? Show me your ropes if you have your ropes. Okay, so now we're ready to start part 4. And this is going to take some time because Candace and Karina and I are going to try and help you out if you guys get stuck. So I have 5 different knots that we can tie, and I have 5 different videos all queued up that will show us how to tie some very, very helpful knots that we have while we're camping. So let me pull up those videos. Let's see. Okay, so we already did this. We talked about where we're going. We talked about our camping, and now we have our videos for the square knot. Hopefully you can hear these videos better than you could the ones that were. Okay, why is it not wanting to go? Well, let me try a different screen. See if this screen will make the videos go. Well, these videos were working before. Okay, user error. All right. So Miss Candace, if can we have you girls, if you know how to tie the square knot, while I'm trying to fix these videos, can one of you show the other girls the way to tie a square knot? In fact, if you are a senior, teaching somebody else how to tie a knot is actually one of the activities that you needed to do after this session is over. So if you can raise your hand and teach somebody else how to tie a square knot right now, then you're going to go ahead and finish that requirement. So Candace, you want to choose somebody to teach the square knot?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Yeah, so I unmuted Esri, and then I'm going to share her screen. Let's see.
Can everyone see me? Yeah. Sorry, I have like random like tassel from a unknown sewing project. So basically what I remember, well, what I did for the square knot is that you cross your 2, like you're tying it. It doesn't matter which way, just remember which one was over and which one was under. And then like that. Just like you would tie like your shoelaces. And then you cross it again. And then that time the other one goes under. And then you tie it. And then.
Can you get closer to your screen, Esri?
Yeah.
So you can show us?
Let me, yeah. So basically I'm doing this one over this one. So I don't have different colored ropes. And then I'm tucking this one under. And then I'm going this one over this one. And then tucking this under. And then it should become a square knot. Kind of, if you can see it. It's messed up because of the puffballs. But yeah. Anyways, that way it works. If it's like turning out wonky, it's just either the back side of it, so you can flip it around, or it's the or you can reverse the ways, and that should help it.
Okay,
so I'm gonna spotlight Daniela and Valeria's screen. They have it. Can you put your rope up again, girls? You're celebrities now. Look at that. Woohoo! All right, turn it over so we can see the other side too.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. So
Can I mute
square
my-
knot's really fundamental. All right. Thanks, ladies.
So how many of you know what happens if when you're tying your square knot, instead of going the opposite way like this, how many of you know what it's called when you go the wrong way like that? Do you know what that kind of knot is called? It's called either the granny knot or the thief's knot, and that is exactly why. Did you see how it just fell apart when I pulled on the sides? If you pull tension on your thief's knot or your granny knot, it'll just eventually all slide out and come apart. But if you tie it properly as a square knot, it'll hold tighter. Okay, so the next knot we had up was going to be a Bowline knot. How many of you know out there how to tie a Bowline knot? No? Raise your hands if you know. If you don't, I can show you. Okay, so let me change my camera a little bit. So the Bowline knot is a knot that they use for rescue work a lot. So if you're stuck down someplace, you want to have a knot that has a loop that when you pull on it, that loop is not going to get tighter. So if you're trying to put a loop around somebody and pull them up a hillside, if that loop keeps getting tighter and tighter, they're going to get squished. So you want to make sure you have a knot that will not tighten on itself. So I'm going to take my rope here and I'm going to put it under my arms like I'm going to be rescued, okay? So this rope I've got up the hill because it's up the mountain. And this is my other rope that's not up the mountain. So I'm going to take the rope that's up the mountain in my hand. I'm going to take my thumb down towards me and my pinky away. And then I'm going to twist it like this into a loop. Now, I'm going to take my hand out just for a minute to show you that you want the part that that is on your knot, the part that's on top goes back to me. It's not going up the hill to the mountain. There. So the part going back to me is on top of this knot. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take my hand like this and I'm going to hold that knot and I'm going to take my tail end, I'm going to put it through the hole. I'm going to wrap it around the knot that is up in the mountain, and then I'm going to pull it back down the hole on the way to me. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to hold these two, and that knot that's up the mountain is going to pull tight, and now they can pull me up the mountain, and this is not going to slide and move and squish me because I've got a steady loop. So that's why you want to tie a bowline. Okay, so I'm going to show you on the other end of the rope one more time. So if you didn't have a person to tie around, to tie your bowline, you're going to take your string. Now, who remembers what this side of your string is called? Can you raise your hand if you know what this side of your string is called? The side that you do all the work with? That was a hint. Candace, does anybody have their hand up? I see Tabor has her hand up. Let's see if she knows. Can you unmute yourself?
I just forgot to put it down from last time.
Okay. Does Catherine know what this end is called?
It's called the tail end.
Not quite. It is the tail end of the rope, but The side of the rope that does all the work. What is the name of the
end?
Oh, working end. And so if you're not working and you're on a job site, what are you doing? You're just doing what around? Not sitting around, but does anybody know? Teresa, our senior? Who knows what the other end, the end that's tied up the top of the hill? Or the end that's tied to me? What is the end that can't move? Does anybody know what that's called? Let's see if Josie knows what that's called.
Maybe, yeah, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's called the lazy end, maybe something like that, because it's not working.
Close. It's called the standing end. So the standing end, and then you have the working end. So what you're going to do is your standing end is the one you're going to have up high, and you're going to take your working end. Now this is the way you can tie that same knot without having a person inside the loop. You're still going to take this knot and you're still going to twist it so that you have that loop right there. Okay, so you're going to twist it so the part coming back to you is on top. Now you're going to go up through the bottom of that loop. You're going to go around the top of the standing end, and then you're going to go back down the same hole, just like you're a groundhog on Groundhog's Day. You peek your head up, you run around the tree, and you run back down the hole. So that's what the front side of your bowline knot's going to look like. That's what the back side of your bowline knot is going to look like. So how many of you tried it out there? Can you hold up your bowline knots and show me how you tied them? How many people have their knots? I see Kara has her knot, Amelia has her knot, Josie has her knot. Who else has their knot? Amanda has her knot. Excellent. Okay, so there's lots of really good videos on YouTube that help you show you how to tie all these knots. So the next knot we have on our list is how to tie a clove hitch. So on your list of equipment, I told you to find a broomstick, and then I went and left my broomstick at home. Okay, how many of you have your broomstick? Awesome, I see some broomsticks out here. I'm going to use my
Mary, Teresa had her hand up for quite a minute. I don't know if she has a question.
Oh, Teresa? Oh, she just took her hand down. Let's see. Teresa, did you have anything to say?
No, sorry, the computer hit it.
Okay, awesome. So raise your hand out there if you know how to tie a clove hitch and you want to show everybody. Like I said, seniors out there, that's one of your requirements. Josie thinks she can, maybe kind of. Josie, do you want to show us how to tie a clove hitch? No? Okay, let's see. Who else thinks they can tie a clove? Amelia's got a clove hitch. Well, I don't know. Hold it closer to the screen, Amelia, so I can see it. Hold it really close. Nope, nope, that's not a clove hitch. Who knows how to tie a clove hitch? It's very close, but there's a trick to the clove hitch. You want your tails to come out the opposite side instead of on the same side. The knot that Amelia was showing us is called a lark's head, when the tails come out on the same side. Let's see, Josie, how'd you do? Can you hold your pole close up to the screen? Let me see your knot, Nadia. I'm trying to find, ooh, it looks like maybe Daniela. Let me see your knot, Daniela. Really close. No. Okay, well, let me show you guys how to tie a clove hitch. So there's two ways to tie a clove hitch. The easiest way, say this was a post in the ground, or a hitching post, or a fence post, or something that was just stuck in the ground and it's open on the top and it's not a loop. So the easiest way you could tie a clove hitch to that is you take your rope and you make a loop like this, and then you make another loop in exactly the same direction. So you want to make sure that the sides on the top are the sides on the top on both sides. Can you see that? And then what you're going to do is the first loop, you're going to move behind the other loop, so that when you look on top of those two loops, it's being crisscrossed by the middle part. Okay, does that make sense? So you got two loops, and when you crisscross them, this part is going to be over top those two loops, locking them together. So then when you slip those holes over your post, when you tighten up your knot, see they're coming out both directions, and this part is crisscrossing over the top. So that is one way to tie your clove hitch, is to make two loops and cross them. Now, say you have, I'm gonna borrow my neighbor's office equipment here. Say you're coming up to a boat dock and they just have like loops like this. There's not anything sticking up that you can put your clove hitch on, there's just a loop. So to put your clove hitch on something that has a loop, you're going to put the end through one time and all the way through, and then you're going to cross over and go under again, and then you're going to come, when you come up top, you want to lift that loop, and so it's crossed under both of them again. So see, it's the exact same thing, exact same loop. Your tails are coming out opposite sides, and the middle is crisscrossing over those tails coming out the opposite sides. So you're just looping around that pole twice. You guys understand? Let's see a thumbs up if you understand. Can you do your thumbs up on your computer? Up. Catherine's got a thumbs up. Who else has got a thumbs up? Kaylin's got a thumbs up. Excellent. Who else? Sophie's got a thumbs up. Sophia, Kylie, excellent. Good job, girls. Now, if you need help, or if you want me to explain something, raise your hand and we can let you ask a question. You could show me or not. Izzy has a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't even have a knot. Like, when I try to tie it, it just falls apart and I can't get a knot.
Okay. So for the clove hitch, right?
Yeah.
So take your string like this.
Okay.
And like I said, one way to make sure you have your twists going in the same direction, instead of moving your arms in a big circle like this, one of the tricks you can do is twist your rope. If you twist your rope in one direction, it'll automatically make the coils. And if you keep twisting that rope, it'll automatically make two coils. Okay, see how that works, girls? You just roll your rope and it'll make into two coils. Once you have those two coils, you just put one right behind the other one. And I'm going to tie up my thumb. Goes right onto my thumb and it makes clove hitch. So you can't have a clove hitch if you don't have something to tie it to. That's why you all have your broomsticks. If you don't have your thumb or your broomstick here and you pull on that clove hitch, it's not a knot at all.
Okay, I got it.
So Josie, awesome. Josie, did you have a question?
Okay, so I get to the part where it's like this, and I don't, when you say put it behind it, I don't know exactly what you mean.
Okay. So it's going to make one twist, and then it's going to make another twist. Okay. So when you twist them, one's like on top of the other. See how one's like higher than the other? You want to switch them and then bring them together. Okay? So when you're twisting, there's one on top, you switch them and then cross them. And that gives you your knot. And you can stick your thumb in the middle if you can't. There you go. You've got your broomstick close. Bring it really close. Let's see if you did it. Closer, closer. Let me get my glasses on. That looks great. Good job, Josie. You did it.
Thank you.
Okay. So we've got 2 more knots to go, and we've only got 20 minutes left of our class. So let's go on to the next knot. Our next knot is going to be the taut line hitch. Now this hitch is very, very important if you're going to set up your tent. When you're in a windy location and your tent's blowing around at night, that tent may make those tent lines roll and roll, and then what happens to your tent covers? It gets all loose. A line that could have been taut like this when you went to sleep, when you wake up in the morning, is loose like that. So this is called a taut line hitch. What you need is you're going to have your working end tied to something, okay, like that. It's going to be tied to the fence. It's going to be tied to your tent. This is a tie onto something that has to have a weight on the end of it. So I'm going to, again, use my handy, actually, let me get back to this other screen so I can make sure you can see what I can see. I'll back up a little bit. So I'm going to use my handy, this is my tent stake for today, because this is a good hitch to use for something that's got an enclosed space. So you're going to take your rope, put it around your tent stake, put it through your tent hole, whatever you're going to stake it to the ground with. After you've got it staked to the ground, you come back up close to the tent and you go, let me scooch forward. You're going to go around, not on the top side close to the tent, but you're going to go around inside the circle. You're going to go around once. You're going to go around twice. Okay. Now you're going to keep going the same direction. If you're going clockwise, go clockwise. If you're going counterclockwise, go counterclockwise. Don't switch directions. That's the most important part. So there's going to be this loop here that we made with the last turn, and you're going to take your working end and go through that loop. Now you'll know you did this right if these 2 ends come out the opposite side. If they're coming out the same side, you did it wrong, the opposite side. The other way, and then you tighten up your knot like this. And the way you know you did this knot correctly, have my tent, I'm gonna bring it close to me, or I could put it far away. Okay. Does anybody have a question? You want me to show that to you again? Yes? Okay. I didn't get it the first time either. It takes a little practice. There's lots of times I made those first 2 turns this one way, and then I did the 3rd turn the opposite way. Don't do that. If you think like you're looking down a pole or you're going around a tree, you're going to go around that tree 3 times in the same direction. Okay? So you take that rope. Here's my standing end. Here's my working end. I'm going to go inside the circle once, inside the circle twice. Now the 3rd time, I'm going to go outside the circle, still in the same direction, and this hole right here, that's where I'm bringing my tail end out. Okay? And that is how you make your taut line hitch. Awesome. Like I said, there's lots of cool videos out there that can show you how to do this. I'm sorry we don't have time to call on everybody, but we need to get on to our next knot. So research those online. They have really good resources that can show you how to do those knots. The last knot we're going to do is something really important for the seniors and I'm sorry, the ambassadors, especially if you are going to go hiking as part of, I'm sorry, not hiking, going to go rock climbing. Let me move my camera up here so you can see me a little better. So if you're going to go rock climbing, one of the things you always do for rock climbing, of course, is you have your harness that goes around your waist. I'm trying to get me and my waist in here. Okay, so they have like a belt loop that your harnesses go on, right? So the figure 8 is the knot that climbers use an awful lot. Now the way you can tie the figure 8 knot, not on your belt loop, but just plain, you could take your knots, and remember how I told you if you twist it, it's going to make a loop? So you can either twist it from below, or you could put both hands on here and you could twist it from above. But if you twist it once, and then you twist it twice, and then you take this working end and you bring it up through your hole, voila, you have your figure 8 knot. Can you all see that? Let's do that one more time. Make a horseshoe out of your knots, out of your rope, hold it like this, grab it here with your hand, twist it once, twist it twice, oops, sorry, I dropped it, twist it twice, then take your working end and bring it up through that hole. And it should look just like a figure 8. And then you're going to tighten that up. Now, if you're going to go climbing as an ambassador, the way they do the figure 8 on your belt loop, I'm going to do it through my belt. So you've got, let's see here. So you've got your loop, and you're going to crisscross it. And then, oh, I forgot a step. I'm sorry. With the figure 8 knot, you make your, for climbing, you make your figure 8 first. Twist it twice, bring up your belt loop, and pull it through. Now, I forgot the most important part. You have to make a long, let me move here. You have to sniff a yard. That's as my mom used to call it. You sniff a yard. You reach out one arm to your nose, okay? Then you take and you twist it twice and you pull up your tail. That gives you your first figure 8 knot. Now when you're going climbing, you're going to take your tail, it's going to go through your belt loop, and now what you're going to do is you're going to copycat that knot. You're going to go in the same spot that it came to you, like that. You're going to go around the top. Now you want to make sure these stay in line with each other. You don't want to let them crisscross like that. They have to stay exactly in line with each other. And you wrap it around like that, and then you follow it around down to the bottom loop. Make sure they're not going to crisscross. Now this one's a little tricky because you want to have this one inside when we go around the bottom, not on the outside. Okay. Can you still see my knot? Yep. And then you've got to pull it back out, and then it follows its buddy right out the top. And that is a double figure 8. And that is a really strong knot. It's the one that all the climbers use to hold their harnesses together. And if you're climbing up, mountain climbing, you're not going to fall off. And that secure knot for your harness is not going to come loose if you tie that figure 8. So let's raise your hand and see if anybody tied some figure 8 knots out there. Cassidy, did you get a knot tied?
No. Like majorly. Like.
So do you want to have help with the single one?
Yes, I
Try
can't
it with
even.
me again. So make a horseshoe out of your string. Let me find my end. So make a horseshoe out of your string, hold it, and then from the top, twist it 2 times. Okay, so see it's twisted 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just take your bottom and you bring it through the top.
Okay.
If you bring it through the top on the wrong side, all you're going to end up with is an overhand knot.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe. I don't think so.
Let's see, hold it close. Hold it close. Does it look like an 8? That looks like an 8 to me. Good job. Esri, did you get yours done? No?
No.
I have a question. So
Yes.
how do you know which one's the working end and which one's not?
Okay, the one that's doing all the work is the working end. The standing end is the one that's tied to something. Okay, so this is tied to something, it's a standing end. This is the one that does all the work, it's the working end. Okay, I'm noticing we've got like only 6 minutes left. So let's double check here. I wish I could spend more time with you on knots. Oh, Genevieve, good job with that knot. Let's see everybody else's knot. Nice, Daniela. Nice, Josie. Nice, Lorena. Okay. So let's go on to activity number 5. So time to camp. Now it's your time to camp. We know that actually going out to camp with your troops right now is not accessible, but that doesn't mean you can't camp with your troop and your family. So we suggest you virtually meet up with your troop and set up your campground in your living rooms or in your backyards, with your parents' permission, of course. So you can use blankets and sleeping bags to make a fort if you'd like, and in the forest you can set up your own tent. So while you're doing this, make sure your troop can see you. So use your phones, use your laptops if your parents let you take them outside, and then have a virtual campout, just like we've been sitting here for 2 hours. You can talk together with your troop, you can have a virtual campout, and you can still sing campfire songs, you can still make marshmallows in your microwave, which is only 5 seconds and they get really big. They're not as good as roasted marshmallows, but they're nice and gooey. So does anybody else have an idea of how they can set up? First of all, everybody lower your hands. Does everybody have their hands lowered? Okay. So who has an idea of how they want to have a virtual camp out with their troop? Josie has an idea.
We could like do like a big group chat like this and just like set up a computer, each of us in our living room, and set up like sleeping bags and set up a tent. That way they know how to set up a tent or a sleeping bag.
And what fun thing would you like to do on your camp out?
We could make s'mores, or we could even like tell each other like different songs and stuff.
Awesome. Genevieve was the next person I saw with their hand up.
I was thinking maybe we could just do it in like our room and then just like build a shelter sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone do that. Actually, I built one. You can't really see it because the dark, but it's like a table, but and I put blankets on it and stuff. So.
Awesome, fort. Okay, and then Daniela has an idea.
Well, me and my sister did make a fort today. We just put up like, we did it in our front porch. We just put like a tarp up and then we tied it to our canopy.
Excellent. Okay, so We just have a few minutes left, so I want to make sure we get you the information of what you need to do to finish your level of the badge. So I'm going to share my screen here. Like I said before, Google Earth has those national park tours. So maybe when you do your virtual camping, somebody could share their screen and you could all tour a national park while you're in a Zoom video. I think that was a little too much for my internet service provider here today. So maybe we can try that next time. The next thing we've got is for cadets to finish up your troop camping badge. The only thing you have left to do to earn this badge is to build an emergency shelter and spend the night in it. For seniors, you need to, in your planning stage, look into the history of your location where you want to go. Like I said, ecology or side trips, you can choose one of those three for your planning. For another part, you need to help the environment or teach Leave No Trace or guide a younger Girl Scout in a camping skill. So those of you who help somebody with their knots today, you already finished that part of your senior badge. The third thing you need to do is to make some sort of a journal that you can do of your camping trips. There's some really cool journals out here. This is one I found that I really, really like, that has, you could put down the location you're at, what you eat, who went with you, the things you saw, the things you did. You don't have to have a fancy camp journal like this. You can just use a notebook. You can make a notebook. You can even do a video or a blog about your adventure. Anything you'd like to do, or a photo gallery for the photographers out there. So those are the things a senior would need to do to finish this badge. For a ambassador, go ahead and go on those YouTube videos and find out how to do lashings. Lashings is when you take two poles and you tie them together even in a cross, or you tie them together parallel, and you use those poles to make your shelter. So using a lashing to tie together poles is one thing you will have to do. Then on your camp out, again, just like the seniors, you're going to keep a journal, or you can learn about trail signs, or you can plan a survival challenge game, like you can have a mini survivor contest in your friends that you're having your camp out with. And that would finish your qualifications to finish this badge. So, any questions? Last chance for hands raised. Or you can type your question in the chat box. I see Daniela has her hand up still. Daniela, did you have a question?
No, it was up from the other time, sorry.
Okay. It looks like I don't see any other hands raised. So if you have any pictures, please take some pictures of your fort, of your tent, of your shelter, anything you're going to do on your adventure. Post them to our Facebook page, send them to us, email them to us. We would love to see all the creative ways you guys do with camping. So what we're going to do to end our meeting today, we are going, well, the good thing about having a virtual camp meeting is that we don't have to clean up. Well, not a big group of girls, but you do have to clean up all the things that you collected today. So make sure you do that later. So we're going to try something, since we can't reach out and grab each other's hands in our friendship circle. What we're going to do today is one at a time. We're going to go through and give everybody a thumbs up. So everybody put on gallery view so we can see everybody. And Candace, do you want to start the thumbs up?
My video's not working. I don't have enough internet bandwidth right now.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to do the thumbs up here in the reactions button. There's a thumbs up button. So there's my friendship squeeze to Shayna. Shayna, can you find your thumbs up button? I see Esri got it up, Tabor's got it up, Daniela. Let's keep pressing those thumbs up so we can spread that Girl Scout squeeze. Okay, let's all sing. Please forgive my singing voice. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. A circle is round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. Whee! Okay, we're all out of the circle. Thank you all so much for participating. It was great to see you all from New Hampshire and New Jersey and Virginia and Tennessee and California. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I have a question.
This
Yes.
is
So my troop, we like haven't met at all like in the past like months.
Right.
So like, can you just do it by yourself or like with your siblings? Because
Yes, there are actually Girl Scouts out there that are called Juliets that don't even have a troop, and they can still earn these badges. So you can do these activities with your family since you can't meet with your troop. But if you do have a troop, reaching out in a Zoom platform like this, or maybe you could take turns Facebook Living each other, or you could take turns Insta chat videoing each other. I'm showing my age now. My teenagers could tell you a whole lot better on how to keep together social networking, but yes, definitely. There are definitely the options to earn this badge just with your family, just like Juliet Girl Scouts do.
Bye, guys.
Any other questions out there?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for joining us. It was great to spend time with you today.
We're having mac and cheese for breakfast.
Goodbye, Phoenix. Goodbye, Ren. I'll see you both at home. I'll bring you cough drops, yes. Okay, remember this is being recorded with my boss, okay? So I'll call you later. Thank you. Somebody's still connecting to audio up there with the kitchen lights. Okay, I'm gonna let them go because Tamara DeLong. I'm gonna sign her out. Okay, Candace, how do you think that went?
That was good. Hold on a second. I'm just going to stop the recording.
I know I probably could have looked at the camera a lot more instead of having my eyes down, but oh well.
It's really hard to do, period. But hold on just a sec.
You know, they need to make the camera at the bottom of the screen because that's a classic like trick that they teach you in choir and in acting is to look above everybody's heads, and then it makes it look like you're looking at them. But when you're looking down, it totally looks like you're looking down. So they need to move the camera screens on these computers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that went well. I think we just need to make sure that we're gonna be able to send out the wrap up stuff to the girls, and then it should be good to go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so you want me to put that in Basecamp, that wrap up page, the way it looked in the slides?
Yeah. Well, why don't I do this? Let's end this meeting, and then because this is still recording.
Oh. You have to edit
and
this.
I'll call you real quick, okay?
All right, thanks. Bye.